Today we're at Midwest Gym Supply. We're located in South Central Indiana. We are a premier AAI gymnastics equipment dealer, and today we're going to show how to assemble the legs on the bottom of a AAI Elite Reflex balance beam. First we'll see what tools we're going to use today. And some of the tools that we're using today are two 9/16 wrenches, a alignment punch, which will help assist in aligning up the holes when we put the leg on. We also have some punches here, which you may need to remove the spring pins that are located in the legs, and we can show you that a little bit later. And of course a hammer. We also have another prying device, which is basically a screwdriver to help align. So now we're going to get ready to put the leg on. Josh? You always want to use at least 2 people to do this and assemble this leg onto a balance beam. First, we're going to do the center post, which is the aluminum block that comes up from the center of the beam. We're going to put the leg end onto it, and we get it close to what we need, and then I use the alignment punch that I talked about. And as I put this alignment punch through, you can feel how the holes will line up, and so that we can put the spring pin and the rest of the hardware together for the leg. Now I will take the shorter of the spring pin, and I'll put it in from this side where you can see. This spring pin is unique in that it has a beveled edge on both ends. And that will come into importance when we do the other spring pin that is longer and does the other part of the leg. But this one is a shorter. It has a beveled edge on each end, so it doesn't matter which one goes in first. Once I can feel that the spring pin is started into the center aluminum block, then I can use the bolt that goes through this spring pin. It has a flat washer on it, and we use the bolt to then drive the spring pin completely in and through to its final location. Which you'll feel that the head of the bolt will then finish where it needs to be on this side of the leg. Now we just need to add a flat washer and a nylock nut that comes with the pins that hold the leg on. And I'll get the 9/16 wrenches now to tighten this down. You'll feel the nut and the bolt tighten up against the spring pin that runs through the middle. This needs to be firmly tight, but it doesn't need to be tightened down severely. If this bolt is too tight, it can restrict the movement of the base, so when you try to raise or lower the beam to different levels. There we go. Okay. Okay, that first part is done now, and now we'll move to the back end of the beam for the other brace leg that comes down. I'll get my alignment tool. And put it through to help locate. Now this spring pin is longer, and it has a blunt end and it has a beveled end on it. Obviously you'll use the beveled end to help put it in and drive it through the hole, and you start with that end, the beveled end. There we go. Once it gets so far, then again I pull out the alignment punch, and I use the bolt that goes through this spring pin to drive the spring pin into its final location. Now, this is something that happens occasionally, because it will drive in so far and then it will get caught over here in doing the final alignment. So we're going to try to move it around some and get it to where the beveled end of that spring pin will then slide on through the last tab over here on this back side. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. There it goes. Okay. Now we'll finish this up by putting the final washer and the lock nut on the bolt that goes through the middle of the spring pin again. Again, I tighten this down firm, but I don't try to over tighten this, so that it will be easier for you to move the beam to the different levels that you might need for your gymnast. Okay, and that does it. That's putting the beam on. Now when you go to the other end of the beam, I have one leg on. You want to make sure that you hold this end of the beam that has the leg on so it's secure and solid, so that it doesn't fall over while you're working at the other end of the beam. If the leg falls over, it can put a twist in the beam, and you do not want a twist in an aluminum beam. So make sure somebody holds this end while you repeat this procedure on the other end of the beam for the second leg. Once you have both legs mounted on the bottom of the beam, then lean the beam over to the side and get enough people, 2 or 3 people usually, to then lift it and stand it up in its finished position. And that should let you be ready to use the beam.